Yeah, when we speak about personal branding, it's just what comes to mind when people mention your name, right? Pretty much simple, right? So when I say who is that person who is always late to class, somebody came to mind, right? Yeah, yeah. And then when I ask who's the shark in your class, who's the person getting all the A's in your class? Yeah. Nobody. Who's the most beautiful girl in your year group? Somebody came to mind, right? So, in terms of my SHS experience, I was pretty much playing in SHS, man. Like, I was just going through it, and I think that Bishop asked the question that made me think about the time I was in SHS, right? The question about why are we here in the first place? And so I think as I got older, it just got to a point where I realized I need to get to that space where my name is associated with something of value, right? And one of the things that stood out to me was tech, right? I was really excited about tech and what it could do in every area of our lives, right? And interestingly, I come from a family that is heavy in education, so I chose education, right? So when we speak about technology, I'm all about how can we leverage on technology to improve teaching and learning, how can we leverage on technology to improve education, overall administration and delivery, right? Just so that when we are coming for this event, you don't have to maybe write, right? But you probably have a tablet that will be, transcribing everything and packages nicely into a note, and then that's it, right? I know you're saying age, but it's very possible now.
Oh yes, it
right?
is.
And I'm just, you see, when I entered the classroom, I was just looking around, right? I was seeing kind of pleats, and then I was seeing stains, and so stains and stains removal, right? Instead of it being on the wall, it can be like on your tablet somewhere, and maybe there's a whole video about how to go about removing stains. That makes it very practical, right? Those are the things I'm interested in, because I don't think that learning should be difficult. Should learning be difficult? It shouldn't be difficult. And so those are the things I'm very obsessed about. And if you go on all my social media platforms, I am making noise day and night about how we should leverage on technology to improve education. But I mean, just to contribute to everything that has been said, I think that the beautiful thing about education is it's supposed to put you in a position where you are equipped with the skills, knowledge, attitudes, behaviors that will put you in a position where you can offer value to the marketplace. I think that's one thing that is very important, right? Everybody has to be able to offer something to the marketplace. I'm sitting here because on some level, I have value. That's why Santa called me and said, I need you to come and sit on this panel. Do you see what I mean? And everybody here, they have some sort of value, that's why they're here. Right? When you go to the market and you're looking to prepare jollof, you're looking for the best tomatoes possible, true or false? You don't look for rotten tomatoes, right? If you're looking to make a salad, you're looking for the best lettuce possible, tomatoes, onions, all of that good stuff, right? The thing about us is, if you're starting from the bottom, you just have to decide that I'm going to change. True or false? If you're last in class and you decide that you want to get into top 10, don't you just decide? You just have to decide, right? But then going back to what Bishop was asking during his period in secondary school, I personally do not think that as a country, we have that collective orientation, right, of the nation that we want to build. Do you guys agree with me?
Yeah.
Does anybody have an idea of what Ghana is going to look like in 20, 30 years? Nobody knows, right? And the problem is that we are all going to school. School has become some rite of passage. But it's like going to school for what? I felt like that for a very long time. Like genuinely, right? But then the beautiful thing is I get to share this thought process that I thought about with you. Now you also get to think about it as well, right? What I say is that Ghana is a developing country. Africa is a developing continent. And there's so much opportunity. Why do you think Chinese are coming here? Why do you think Lebanese are coming here? Why do you think the Americans are coming here? Why do you think Chinese are coming here? What is in Ghana that is so attractive? But I'm sure many of you, if I say we should go to Dubai today, you follow me, no? Yeah. You follow me, no? Yeah, you follow me. Right? But then the point is, this has been my thinking for a few years now, right? That God puts his best soldiers in the thick of the war, or he puts his best craftsmen in a place where he knows that they can build and create something. Do you guys agree? Yes. So what I typically say to young people when I get the opportunity is, by virtue of the fact that you are born in Ghana, think about it for a second, of all the places you could have been born, all the places. Yeah, all the places. Yeah, why? Like why? You know? But, if God didn't think that you would come here and come up with a solution to improve the situation, he wouldn't put you here. You know the story that comes to mind always? The story of the talents. Now when I read the story, I get goosebumps because I'm like, what has God put inside me that I am not using? Do you see what I mean? You don't want to be that servant when they come and they say, oh, I hid it under a stone. You're going to look funny. So that's how I think about it. That's why when Santa invited me, I was like, I was going to come. Because I feel like if I have the opportunity to speak, I'm sure maybe one person, not all of you, but one person, that seed will drop somewhere.
Yeah.
And you think about it, and you think about how to improve the lot of Ghana. Right? So that's just me in a nutshell. I'm sure with subsequent questions I'll get to share more. Thank you guys so much.